Welcome to the Keep It or Change Cars podcast, proudly brought to you by All Things Motoring. Allow me to formally introduce myself. My name is Michael Pashut. I'm the owner and founder of CHANGECARS and the proud host of All Things Motoring, channel 189 DSTV. Today is a very special day for me because the All Things Motoring podcast is not new. It is a reintroduction.
Introduction indeed, 100%.
And I'm proud to say it was not my brainchild. Nicky, it was yours. Tell us what made you think of it.
So I've always wanted a podcast, or automotive podcast, and there hasn't been anything I checked on YouTube or anything like that. So it's a market that I saw I can tap in, and that's why I reached out to you and said, let's revive it.
Fantastic. So when we talk about reviving, we did over 40 episodes. We've taken a 9-month break. I didn't get pregnant. Don't worry about that. Just the timing is perfect. Nicky, you got a couple of ideas, people you want to speak to, people you want to have in studio. Tell us about that.
So the idea behind this podcast is basically to invite guests and bring all sorts of guests, from journalists, influencers, YouTubers like today, and OEMs like your PR managers, your brand managers, your social media managers, all those type of things, so that I can cater for everyone, every single person that's watching this, cater that.
Well, I can honestly say, as the owner, I hope that's exciting you, but just hearing it in my right ear, it's exciting me. Today, we've got somebody very special in studio.
100%, very special indeed. I think, in my view, the biggest YouTuber, because of his numbers and what he's been doing in the short period, has been in the automotive industry, and it's Mr. How Much, Bongani, in my view.
So it's interesting that you say Bongani and Mr. How Much in your view. I think Bongani is one of those people that have truly lost his identity. His birth given name is no longer. You look on YouTube, whenever you see him, nobody says, hey Bongs or Mr. Bongani or nothing. No. It's just Mr. How Much.
100%. They call him Mr. How Much. That's how big his platform has been for him, and that's why he's our first guest.
Of course. So, Nicky, the key to a show like this is consistency and longevity. Longevity, I assure you, it ain't stopping. Talk about consistency. So, how often are we going to be producing a show?
So the consistency, we're going to produce the show bi-monthly, so twice a month. But there's going to be those special months where you're going to see 5 episodes or 4 episodes or 6 episodes. You never know.
That's
but
incredible.
At minimum, it'll definitely be 2 episodes a month.
So what Nicky's trying to say is, by popular demand, we will up the ante and shout it out loud, shout it softly. We'll be here. But today is all about you and Bongani. You're going to have a keen onlooker. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn from you. I'm here to learn from Bongani. You see, Bongani, we do want to revive your birth name. What is the key focus of Mr. How Much? In fact, Bongani. Don't tell me. Tell the audience.
Need advice? Visit changecars.co.za and click on the Keep It or Change Cars tab.
Welcome back. I'm now in the driving seat. Thank you, Michael, for the beautiful introduction. But let me formally introduce myself. I'm Nicky Nesh. As many of you know me, I'm representing CHANGECARS and All Things Motoring. And right now in the hot seat, we have the biggest YouTuber, in my view. If you're fighting me, that's your problem. We have Bongani, Mr. How Much, as many of you guys would know. And we're going to interview him. All the questions that you guys have always wanted to ask him, I'm going to ask him, the personal ones as well, and everything you need to know about Bongani. I have my laptop here. He's going to answer those questions. He's not leaving here without answering those questions. Bongani, how are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm all right. You know, people call you Mr. How Much, and I can't call you Mr. How Much. You saved as Mr. How Much on my phone, but I call you Bongani because I even call you Bongs at times.
Yeah,
It feels weird to say Mr. How Much, but people know you as Mr. How Much. Let's start with the Mr. How Much. How did that name come about?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm really honored to be your first guest. The name Mr. How Much? Well, actually, when I started the channel, it wasn't really meant to be a car channel. So I don't know how many people have watched my first 2 videos, but the idea around it was to just do prices of everything. So my first video was a trip to Dubai, so I detailed the price of the plane, the hotel, that kind of stuff. And then the second video was the VW Polo review. So I was taking the cost of ownership of the Polo into consideration. So the third video was supposed to be of a house. Then the fourth one was supposed to be the price of maize meal and sugar. But because the second video did so well on the car aspect, I was like, let me just stick to cars, and that's how it came to be.
So before you decided to go the car route, had you seen other people within the industry doing car reviews, and was something of interest for you?
Yeah, no, I'd been watching car reviews. At some point, cars were closer to my heart. That's why my second video was a VW Polo. So yeah, I've been watching car reviews. I mean, we all have watched Top Gear. I mean, even locally, I don't know if you know, but I've been watching you from your first video. I think you posted I think it was a Range Rover launching. Like,
Yes.
back in 2018.
2018.
Yeah, back then. So I used to watch all of you guys, and I was like, wow, this is like interesting. This is nice. I'd like to give that a try. And yeah, one day I took a leap of faith and I started. Yeah.
And that worked out for you because
Hey.
now you're one of the biggest YouTubers.
Yeah.
So tell me, how long have you been since you started till now? How long has it been?
Okay, now we're in, what month are we on? June. So in August, it's going to be 2 years.
August, 2 years.
Yeah, so it's about a year and some months, somewhere there.
And you know, with the leaps and the steps that you've done in that 2 years, it takes people 5 to 10 years to get to that. So how do you manage the pressure? And now you have a big audience. How do you manage to keep up with producing the content, making sure that the people get what they want? Because YouTubers that watch the content can be very demanding.
Yeah, the thing with YouTube, you see, YouTube, the algorithm, it wants you to post consistently. You can't take a break. You can't vanish for a while, then come back. So you have to consistently bring something out every now and then. So I try my best to post at least once a week. It's not easy because the way I do my videos is a bit complicated. Like, apart from the filming, just the voiceovers alone, they take me like 6-7 hours because I'm very strict on my voiceovers. Especially the intro, the first 30 seconds, I battle with those opening lines. So I usually redo those a lot. I can spend 40 minutes just trying to get that first 30 seconds right. But then the rest, it comes a bit easier. So yeah, I do it for my audience, Like, I always look forward to seeing what are their comments going to be. That's usually my thing. Like, I just want to post the video, see what they think, and then that's what usually motivates me to post the next one.
So do you ever feel like once you've posted a video, you feel like, okay, this video wasn't one of my best videos, and then your comments say the complete opposite of what you thought?
Yeah, no, I've I've had a lot of random videos, especially ones where I do at dealerships. Like, I recently reviewed a Land Cruiser which was parked. I didn't think that video would go anywhere. I was just doing it just because people were asking for that specific car. But the comments shocked me. It's on 100 and something thousand views. I wasn't expecting anything from it, but I was like, people actually watched this random thing. I was actually kind of honored. So with the videos I make, I never really know. Sometimes I get a nice car and think, this car is going to do well and no one cares about it. Sometimes I'll review a 30-year-old Corolla and people love that. So, yeah, it's really hard to tell what people actually want sometimes, yeah.
So when you started, you obviously started doing dealership reviews, right?
Yeah.
So how did you move? What made you move from dealership reviews to actually reaching out to the OEMs themselves and asking them for cars?
When I started, my plan was I always wanted to do the OEM cars, but obviously if you have no CV,
Yes,
like if there's
foundation.
nothing to show, they're not just gonna give you a car. So I had to start with the dealership route. It's not easy because going to dealerships and begging is hard. There are a lot of YouTube channels now that are coming up. I see them at dealerships. If you were to ask them, they'll tell you, like, just walking in there, trying to talk to someone, explaining, YouTuber. They're like, man, you're not a customer. You're wasting our time. It's not easy convincing those guys. But yeah, I just had to go through that for as long as I could. And then I used that as my reference to approach brands to say, hey guys, this is what I've been doing. I do dealership reviews, but please give me a test car. I could do so much more if given the opportunity to live with the car.
So interesting question. I say interesting because of what my answer to the question I'm asking you is.
Yeah.
What was your first test car?
My first test car was a Ford EcoSport.
EcoSport.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Ford EcoSport. Yeah.
So at least your first test car was something small, because there's people that their first test cars are Range Rovers, are Jaguars. So my first test car was a Renault Kwid. So it's good to see. I think I always preach things like humble beginnings.
Yeah,
Start somewhere.
yeah.
And then at least when they see your stuff a year or two later, they say, okay, you've worked hard to get to that state. Instead of starting at the top, because when you start at the top, everything is going to go down. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So what has been the biggest challenge for you in the industry?
Biggest challenge, I wouldn't really call it a challenge. I just don't like the politics in the industry. I just feel a lot of it is not even necessary, really. So that for me has been the biggest thing. Like, for me, the way I see it, you have a car, I want to review your car. let's not make it a big issue, you know. Like, yeah, I don't have to like, you know, like, yeah.
So the audience are obviously wondering, what do you mean by the politics? We don't have to deep dive into the whole understanding of the politics, but let's just put it on surface level. What do you mean by the politics? Let's just expand on that.
So the politics, sometimes I feel like, you know, even if you're doing well, some people just don't care, you know, just because we don't meet on Saturdays and have cream sodas, irrespective of how good you are or what you do, they're not going to give you the time of day. You know, when I started, I used to get like a lot of excuses. Some were valid, like, your YouTube channel is too small, or you don't really align with our brand. So I took all that. I listened. I was like, okay, cool. I'll work on myself. I built my YouTube channel. Then it became a thing of, oh, your Instagram is too small. I was like, it was small. I had like 300 followers. I worked on that. Now I'm on 30,000. And then after that, it came to, like, recently, there's a PR manager who told me he doesn't like the name of my channel. Like, if I want to get his cars, I must change from Mr. How Much. I was like, dude.
Yeah, and you can't do that because that's what you're known for.
That's what I'm known for. I'm not gonna sell my brand
just to get a car.
Just to review your car. I'm not going to do that. Like, so, yeah, a lot of it is just unnecessary, really. I mean, if you have someone who, they're not paying me, first of all. I'm just here to take your car, review it, tell people about it. I mean, I don't drag race these things. I'm very careful with the test cars I get. You'll never catch me over speeding. You'll never catch me doing anything funny. You can watch any of my reviews. I actually take my own money. A lot of the money I make, I put back into my videos. Petrol, road trips. I don't mind spending.
So I think it's important that we touch on what you just said, that you don't get paid by these OEMs. So that's actually one of the questions, well, because I know the answer, but the audience don't know the answer. So you guys are asking this question. Do you guys get paid to review cars?
We are not paid.
We do not get paid.
Okay, I'm not paid. Maybe someone out there is paid, but I've never received any money for any review.
So that's to answer that question. So if ever you're watching our reviews, whether it's my review or his review, just know we are not paid.
We are not paid,
So I think it's something we need to address because people think we get paid per car that you get. So if you get 5 cars, they're thinking, that's 5 paychecks.
This guy's rolling in money,
So
no,
speaking about
nothing,
that tension, right? Let's touch on that tension. Obviously now you're big on YouTube and everything. How is that tension? Do you get noticed in public, and how do you get?
No, I always meet, like, I can't go out and not come without seeing someone. They'll just catch me off. Hey, Mr. How Much? Hey, Mr. How Much? Hey, is this PA? Is this, like, if I'm working with someone, they want to know, who's this person you're working with? How are you doing? What are you driving?
So is that what makes you keep going? Like, are your audience the main thing for you?
No, everything I do is for my audience. As I said, I even take my own money to try and make the best videos I can make because I respect them that much, you know. Like, I'm like, no, if you believe enough in me to watch me every week, then let me give you the best of me.
So now the audience are obviously thinking, they're like, okay, we hear what you said. You don't get paid.
Yeah.
But you take the money and put it back into the content.
Yeah.
So now they're wondering, when do you get paid, actually, your own money? So that means that you have another job, right?
Yes, I do have another job.
So what do you do besides the whole YouTube thing?
Well, I'm actually a qualified aircraft mechanic, But I don't hype it so much because I saw in the beginning when I spoke about it, people will now ask me to review planes.
But I think that could be well, if you can, I think it's something you can do.
The thing is, there are a lot of, like, for example, Tambo is a national key point. There's a lot of red tape around it, safety and all that. So
So at least that now will answer why you're not reviewing planes or anything. It's because of the restrictions around.
There's a lot of restrictions. I don't want to get in trouble, so I just stick to cars.
So you said your first test car was a Ford EcoSport. So I'm guessing Ford was the first brand you worked with. But before I ask you about your relationship with Ford, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Looking to buy a new or used car? Visit CHANGECARS.co.za.
So now that you guys heard from our sponsors, we're back with Bongani. Just tell us about your relationship with Ford, how it's been for the past 2 years now in August.
Okay, as I mentioned, my first test car was from Ford. People even call me Mr. Ford Much now because I review so much Ford. But I think what people fail to understand is, yes, I do review a lot of Ford. I mean, even my most viewed video is of a Ford Everest. It's on 550,000 views, I think. From a business perspective, like this goes back to what I was saying earlier, that sometimes I don't like the politics in the industry. So I think how Ford views it, they see that people watch the videos, they see that people engage, they see that people comment. So why not give the guy a car? You know, simple as that. Nothing complicated, nothing fancy. It's a business. They're in marketing. They want people to see their product. They'll send it to me, and I'll take it to the people.
And interesting enough, when was your first test car, the Ford?
It was last 2023 February.
So 2023 February was your first Ford test car. Now in June 2024, and what car are you driving today?
I'm still driving a Ford.
So now you get why people call you Mr. Ford Match.
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
So your top 3 brands that you love working with, obviously Ford is in there. What are the other 2?
Top 3 is a bit small because there have been a lot of brands that have been very nice to me. Some have just been straight up like, it's fine, man, keep your car. But they've, like, my second was Suzuki. Suzuki, they were very good to me. Mahindra, Renault, Land Rover, recently Volvo. So yeah, I even drove an electric car in Audi. I shouldn't forget, that was my first electric car. It was an RSE truck. So there have been a number of brands that have been really like open to me and nice to me. So yeah, I just want to say thank you to all of them for giving me the chance. Yeah,
100% makes sense. So now with brands that you're not currently working with, how do you approach that now that you know that you're not working with X brand? What do you do to try counter the fact that you don't work with X brand but you'd love to work with them?
Usually with cars I can't get, if it's possible, I just go to a dealership and just do a review there. And then if I can't, I just don't do it. Yeah, I just don't do it, yeah.
So what's one brand, I don't know if you're working with or that you're not currently working with, but you'd like since you started, it's a brand that you really, really wanted to work with?
Well, apart from the brand itself, I'm personally a big BMW fanboy. Like, I love BMWs. Like, I even hired one last year. Yes. So I love Beamers. I would buy one myself, you know. I love BMW.
So speaking about when you hired the first one, if I remember, it was your 1 year special, right?
Yes.
So your 2 year special is coming up.
Yeah, I'm already working on it.
So now your audience are gonna be asking, what car are you hiring this year? If you are hiring.
I've decided to keep the hiring theme going.
Okay.
So just to like, so I can be free and I can just do what I want. So yeah, it'll be another BMW around August. So yeah, I'm gonna get another BMW. I won't say which one, but it's gonna be a proper one.
So it's around August.
Around August.
And it's another BMW.
It's another BMW.
I've asked the question that you guys wanted to know. He answered. We'll have to wait and see the video or the week when he's. Where are you going this time around? Cape Town again?
I know, Cape Town again. Yeah, Cape Town is nice, man. Like I looked at other places, but for filming, Cape Town is tops. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of people, I'm sure you get questions of how do I become like you, Mr. Muhammad?
Yeah.
I like what you're doing. Well, I've answered this question on my YouTube channel and all that. So for you, to the people now, what would you say to them? Like, what's their way into the industry? What can they look out for in the industry? And what can they do, basically, to get in the industry?
Okay, as I said earlier on, how I started was I went to dealerships, did my reviews, did them to the best of my ability. You know, you can only do so much with a parked car, but I think that's where I learned also to just focus more on the story I'm telling than the car itself. So even if it's a mic, just do your best to try and make this mic interesting. Like, this mic is golden. You just find something, you know, just to keep it interesting. So yeah, that's how I started. You build let me say, you know, YouTube for me, I feel like is different from other social media platforms because it's all about a community. Your viewers, they're like your family, you know, they're like your friends, your brothers, your sisters, you know. Even the way they talk to you, they don't talk to you as like they just talk to you like we're
like
talking.
A friend.
Yeah, 100%. There's a friend like, Bongani, why didn't you? No, there was a time I didn't even cut my hair. They're like, hey, bro, when are you cutting your hair? You know? Yeah, stuff like that. So that's how it is. So if you can find a community, if you can build a community rather, engage with them, treat them with respect, show them that you're willing to you're willing to put in the work to give them the best product, I think you can grow. And then from there, if you'd like to go the OEM route, once you have a good CV, basically, then you can approach the brands and write to them. but that's a whole nother storyline.
So now people are obviously taking what you're saying, and now they want to know, how do they get the emails of the brands? How do they reach out to the brands? Because it's not like they go on their social media, then the PR manager's email is right there. So how do they do that?
Okay, I started with Instagram. I was just DMing, but I saw it didn't work. But you can, what is it? Is it MotorMatters and Quick Pick? Yeah, you just go, you register there, and then every brand, they release like statements, press packs, and emails. Then at the bottom there, I don't know if PR managers would be happy with me saying this, but yeah, their emails are there. You go there, you get their email, and then you can just send to them. Yeah.
All right, so that's a very interesting. So now at least now they know where to go.
Where to go, yeah.
And they should take it there. And I think a lot of people, when you send out an email, you expect, okay, if I send you an email on a Monday, you expect a response on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So in this industry, how does it work? Do you get the response immediately, or
hey, let me look at them. Let me not lie to you. Yeah, it's not easy. You need like a thick skin, because I still get ignored. Like you'll be ignored. You'll be given funny excuses, funny reasons. You won't get a response, but you just have to persevere. You just restructure your proposal. If you have to use ChatGPT to write you a nice proposal, edit it a little bit, send it again. But also make sure when you approach them, like you should be someone they would want to work with. Don't
give them a reason to.
Yeah, give them a reason. Like, so if you wanna say get any car, for example, then they go and check your page. You're spinning cars and all that. Some brands will be like, I'm not really,
aligning with you.
Yeah. So you need to know what you want to go into. Like, for example, there are YouTube channels that focus on breakfast runs, for example. And they have views there. Yes. Yeah, they have views there. So if you want to go the breakfast run route, I know like a friend of mine, 4 Wheels ZA, he does those. He gets a lot of views from those things. So if you want to go that route, you just need to pick, like, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? Because trying to do both, it's going to give you some issues.
And I think just to put in perspective to the audience, to people that want to join the industry, you need to be realistic as well. So once you've done your dealership reviews or anything like that, when you do send out your proposal, let's use Ford, for example, right? Yeah. When you do send out a proposal to Ford, don't say, hi, Ford, write your whole proposal and say you want a Ford Mustang, for example. Because you will not get a Ford Mustang as your first test car from Ford.
True.
They'll most probably start you with something small to see how Puma you are. You see, exactly. So now, because there's no Ford EcoSport, if you're starting out, don't start out with the Puma, right?
Sure, yeah.
And then obviously you started with the Ford EcoSport. What other Fords have you driven? Okay, the most expensive one.
Oh, well, which Ford haven't I driven? I think I've driven all the Fords. Like, I've driven. I actually have another Ford review coming up. I'm still trying to think of how I'm going to post it, because, everyone's like, another Ford. But the nice thing is they still watch the Ford videos anyway. But I drove a Mustang. I think, Mustang and Raptor. I think those are their most expensive ones. Yeah, I love the Raptor, man.
So it goes to show you that just because you didn't get it in the beginning doesn't mean you won't get it later.
True.
And I think it's important that people know that you need to start from somewhere and build your way up to the tops. And I think for you, in a space of 2 years of what you've achieved, I think it's one of the biggest things. And speaking of achievement, what is your biggest achievement besides your subscribers? Subscribers aside, what's your biggest achievement? Can be a personal one, can be a community one. What is this?
Oh, that's a hard question. Well, apart from my subscribers,
yes, subscribers and views aside, for you,
for me, I think just getting the opportunity to be able to create something every week. Like, sometimes I look back and I think, wow, I actually put this together. I'm like, I'm impressed. I even sit and say, well done, man, well done. Could improve 1, 2, 3. Like, I watch my videos a lot. Like, I'm very hard on myself. I go back sometimes and like, the audio here, I spoke too high, I spoke low. So I was watching one of my videos from 2022 yesterday. I was like, yo, this was bad. So to see how far I've come, like, from the filming, the storytelling, everything, I think for me that's like a personal big achievement for me, apart from my subscribers.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Bongani, thank you for being my first guest. Thank you for joining. Thank you for accepting the invitation. If I invite you again, will you come through?
Anytime, man. Anytime. Like I said, I've been watching you from 2018, bro. So to be invited by you.
And now the fact that I have your email, I'm going to pop you a lot more emails. But
you have my WhatsApp.
100%. So this was our first episode back of the Keep It or Change Cars podcast, proudly brought to you by All Things Motoring and Change Cars. And speaking about Change Cars, hear it from me first. What is Change Cars? You guys have seen it on my platforms. You're seeing it here. Change Cars is the online platform which is trusted by dealers. This platform, you will not get scammed. Hear it from me, you will not get scammed because they worked with manufacturer-approved dealerships. What does that mean? So if you find a dealership owned by Bongani Cars, for example, but Volkswagen or Ford doesn't know Bongani, that dealership won't be on the Change Cars podcast. But if Bongani has Bongani McCarthy, for example, and McCarthy is known with VW, and VW knows Bongani McCarthy, you'll find Bongani McCarthy on the Change Cars website. So what that does, it mitigates you being scammed. You won't be scammed. If you do get scammed, call me or call Michael. Michael's details are actually on the website. Call him, say, Michael, you got scammed by XYZ, and then we will come and deal. I will come myself with my test cards. I'll call Bongani as well. But I've told you guys everything you need to know. I hope you guys did like the first episode back of the podcast. It's going to be a very interesting road. It's not going to end. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Our next guest, I'd love to tell you, but unfortunately I can't, because if I tell you, you won't watch. So, yeah, I'll see you on the next episode. Bongani, we're signing out.